great to be with you guys tonight on Inspirations for Your Life. Thank you so much for being here with me. We definitely have another great show for you guys, in case you're wondering. An awesome, awesome show for you guys to share with you some amazing details that I think you guys are really, really going to like quite a bit. So we will get kicking off here in the show in just a second. But I do want to thank all of you guys for being here with me and for making sure that this is exactly what you guys want. Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that we have the power to do so many amazing things in our life. I mean, we really have a lot of power. I mean, when I say a lot of power, I mean we have a lot of power, more power than you probably believed um, it was possible. I mean, there's just a lot of different powers, so I think that's a really amazing thing. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you're probably saying to me, "Hey, John, this can be crazy, or things can be a little nuts sometimes." But the truth of the matter is that it just takes some perseverance, which, by the way, that is our master topic for the week, and we end that tomorrow. And tonight's lesson is hardest lesson of resilience that I think a lot of us need to learn. And that lesson that we're going to go through with a couple different points tonight, because I think it's really important to shed some light on that. A lot of people don't realize what it means when we talk about resilience. So, first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about, we know what resilience is because we've been talking about it all week, right? But one of the hardest lessons of resilience is to be an optimist. And so it's because everything around you seems to be like, coming down, and you just can't handle it. So optimism helps us see the positive side of every situation, keeping us motivated and focused on solutions rather than our problems. And by the way, thank you so much for being here with me, whether you're here at 11:20 p.m., 11:20 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., or maybe even 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. Doesn't really matter. I'm very grateful you're here with me. Do check out my hat and go to the QR code or believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations, which I know will definitely change and impact your life if you want to become better. So I want to dive into this point here about being an optimist. So first of all, if I went over to our good friend, which you know who our good friend is, Merriam Webster, and I was to look up what an optimist is, according to Merriam Webster, it's a noun, and it's a person who is inclined to be hopeful and to expect good outcomes. Someone who is given to optimism. The optimists have faith that no matter how vicarious the age, literature will endure. Okay. Or another example of that would be no matter how daunting the medical situation seems and the challenges that we've gone through have been, we have faith that we know this will come to pass and he or she will heal. Okay. So when I want to talk about being an optimist, now that you understand what an optimist is, according to Merriam-Webster, there was a person today. We had a party today at our club. My mom had a private party for 4th of July. By the way, happy 4th of July to everyone. And this lady that I was talking to at the luncheon today at the party, I was explaining to her that a lot of people around, they just complain. They complain about things because they just want to complain. They complain if everything was just perfect. They'd still complain. And I was talking about a few things. She says, "Well, you're talking about me." And I was like, first I didn't think this was her, but then when I explained it, it was like, oh my gosh. She says, "So I really just don't care." And when I heard that, my like I don't know, my heart like dropped right into my stomach because I'm like, how do you deal with this? And this lady was just negative, and I explained to her what being positive was about, but she really said the truth. She just doesn't care. And I was trying to be polite because it was a friend of my mom's, but this lady was really somebody that I probably would have said goodbye to because I don't have time for people that are going to play games like that. All right, so the next point of this, which is all part of being the person's optimistic, is to look for the light at the end of every dark tunnel. Now, tunnels are dark. I mean, that happens, right? So, in order to get to the other end, there needs to be light. And sometimes when we're in a tunnel, whether we're going through a water tunnel like on a water slide, or if we're on a tunnel in a car, and we have headlights, we're looking for that other end, that light at the end of the tunnel. And so that's kind of like an analysis, or the best way to think of it is an analogy, really. And so, what does light at the end of the tunnel mean? Well, it's been around for a long time. It's basically indicating that a period of hardship or adversity is nearing the end and that we're starting to see a little light. Okay. A reason to believe that the bad situation is going to end soon, that a long and difficult job will now be finished. Uh, a reason to believe that we're moving on and that now things are getting better. It's becoming a better day, a better life. Signs of improvement. So a lot of people look for the light in the tunnel, but they can't find it. When they can't find it, they're like having this heart attack because they can't find it. But the reason they can't find it is they're so obsessed with the fact that they're not going to find the light in the tunnel that they don't see even that little glimmer, that little dim light that's there. And if they only would just be able to see that dim light, then maybe they believe that it's actually opening up, it's actually getting better. I've seen this with a lot of people, whether it's in health, whether it's in finances, whether it's in relationships. They make the situation worse because when it's starting to get better, they don't notice it. And they decide to go the other way because they've been going so long at it. You have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, to look for the lesson. All right? Look for the lesson. And when we look for the lesson, we can actually learn from that lesson and we can become a better version of ourselves. But we have to look for the lesson. The lesson could be something that we might have seen before, but we missed it. And we have said this before, the universe will keep repeating that lesson over and over again until you embrace the lesson and you learn it. The universe will repeat it over and over and over again. There's a fourth part to this, and that is looking for the opportunity in every challenge. So this reminds me of a famous story. I won't tell you the whole story. So the one thing was there was this gentleman, and he was telling his friend the story. He says, my son, he broke his leg. And he goes, oh, that's terrible. No, it's not. You see, the militia came by, and they were going to recruit all the boys that were well enough to go into the army. And because my son had a broken leg, they didn't take him. Oh, well, that's wonderful. No, it's not, because then my son had to stay home for years because he didn't get what he needed in the army, and he had to wind up getting a job, and it was not as much. And then he went through college, and he was having trouble trying to pay for that. Oh, that's terrible. No, it's not terrible because he learned, and then after that he got a job. So you get the idea. So when we look at the positive side, we can make things go further. A lot of people look at the negative because that's what their friends have shown them. That's what their family has shown them. That's what life has shown them. And they believe that they are going to go down that same pathway. Now, do they want to go down that pathway? No, but they believe that because other people have pretty much pointed out that this is the way you're going, they believe that they don't have a choice. They can't change. Remember, you can change your future. What we think about is what we become. Nightingale Conant said it very well. Our thoughts are things, and what we think about is what we become. So wherever our thoughts go, that's where the energy is going to flow. And so you have to be understanding with the fact that your thoughts are very, very powerful. And if you can just wrap your head around that concept and know that what you say affects your mind, and your mind affects your body. It could be something as simple as, you're believing that you don't know if there's anything for you to do in this world, or not happy to be alive. There could be lots of things. A lot of this can be a chemical imbalance, or it could just be a thought. Now, people get these things, and it's okay to get them, but the important thing is to, think about the fact that there's so many great things in life. I always love to use the phrase love life, right? Live life, love life. A lot of people that I know use that phrase too, but they don't mean it. They use it in a way to try to convince others that we love life. Well, you don't have to convince others that you love life. You need to figure out if you love life yourself. That's probably the most important thing. Okay? So, challenges often come with hidden opportunities. And by staying open minded and resourceful, we can turn setbacks into stepping stones for success. I will tell you this: many people get impatient because the road to the victory that they are on is not moving fast enough for them, or they're moving and they're hitting hurdles, and every time they hit a hurdle they're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. You see, you have to realize that you're put on this road and this path for a reason, so you can learn and you can become better, and that you're not going to make those mistakes again, right? That's the whole point of life, is that you learn things. And when we learn things that are sometimes painful, we don't want to repeat those things. The biggest thing I can share with you is kids when they're younger, their hands near a stove and it's very hot. And maybe they feel it hot and they pull it away. But maybe accidentally they went too close and they got burnt and they quick pull it real fast. They won't ever go near that stove again that close. So although that wasn't a great experience for them, they're going to respect the stove. People have had this situation with other things. It could be a balance situation. Maybe they were going to dive, off a diving board at a pool, and suddenly, maybe it didn't happen to them, but it happened to a friend of theirs. They went to dive. They were showing off on this big high diving board, really high, and they snapped their neck. And whether you did it or someone else did it, or had a situation where you can come back from, it makes you open your eyes. And people want to become better. I said this with a lady today that, if we focus on one thing, we're going to go down that path. And she agreed with me, but she then said to me, well, I just really don't care. And when people tell me they don't care, well, then our conversation's over. Like, there's nothing I can do with you. There's no reason I'm going to try to persuade you, because I don't need to do that. If you don't embrace life and you don't take the teachings that I'm sharing with you, I'm not going to try to motivate you to be better, because if you don't want to change your life, anything I say to you, anything anyone says to you, will not change your life. That's being honest. So the hardest lesson of resilience is to be able to look for that opportunity, to be able to be an optimist. You might be going outside, oh, it's going to rain. Well, no, we got time. No, it's going to rain. It's definitely going to rain. The picnic's going to all be a disaster. The whole party's going to be a disaster. And it's like, you don't realize what you're doing. You're setting yourself up and you're telling other people this thing, and then they're now expecting that. And so you've really done yourself a disservice, and you've done others a disservice. Maybe you do this because of something that happened to you, but that doesn't mean you should do that all the time. There's one thing to being protective. There's one thing to being, let's say, one who plans. If A doesn't happen, we have B. Or if we can't have the party outside, we're going to have it indoors. Fine. But you've got to be positive about the situation. Maybe it's you're taking your SATs, your PSATs, or whatever you're taking. You've got to realize that your life is about amazing challenges. And these challenges help to impart knowledge that no school could ever bring upon you. You see, when we're in life, the school of life, that is the best teacher. Now, yes, going to school and learning things and getting degrees, they're all great. But when we really learn is when we apply those things in our life and life has a lesson. That's why whenever I did my experiments and my projects in college, with me unless I made them a real world case where they were going to make sense to me. Otherwise, I'm like, well, why am I doing this? Why do I care about pi? Why do I care about a trigonometric function? Why do I care about an isosceles triangle? Why do I care about that? And what I would say to people teaching geometry, these other things, they need to give real world situations. Like, for example, we can use geometry to help us do things that we might want to do in our home or maybe in our swimming pool or whatever it is. We want to understand shapes because maybe that can help us with how we can plan for storage, right? Maybe we want to understand shapes because we want to know how an object moves along a plane. And if that plane changes, how it will change direction, things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic, yes, July 4th. By the way, happy, healthy, safe, and wonderful 4th of July to all of you. I hope you guys had a chance to watch the Macy's Day Parade or some other local fireworks in your town. I do hope that you have a great rest of your 4th of July evening. I'll be back tomorrow, July 5th, to wrap up this whole topic about the keys to perseverance. Because, see, perseverance is not something you go get in a store. It's not something you buy on Amazon. It's not something you get because somebody says you have to have perseverance. You have to become perseverant based on what you've learned in life. And perseverance comes from patience. Perseverance comes from our challenges and knowing that we can actually put that puzzle together or that we can come up with a solution because we believe in ourselves. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a great 4th of July, and we'll wrap the whole show up tomorrow. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care.